apart from all that, I think the postmodern objection to meaning is actually wrong. Well, we talked about this earlier. I do believe that there's a transcendent ethic. And I do believe that it touches on the metaphysical. I believe that people experience that because people are perfectly capable of having unutterably profound religious experiences. And the naturalistic materialists don't know what the hell to do with that. They have no idea what to do with that fact. Say, well, it's delusional. It's like, well, hang on a sec. People who have those experiences appear to be more successful and healthier. It's like, so exactly in what manner is that delusional?
Being healthy and being delusional isn't some dichotomy. Delusions can actually be advantageous when a lack of knowledge is the case. If you hear something rustling in the bushes, it might be nothing, but you treat it with alarm, because when it's something that's truly a threat to you, you'll get your Darwin Award if you ignore it. And if you can develop a tool set to ascertain what's actually going on in all these cases of uncertainty, the better off you are.
And if you induce it in the lab with psilocybin, for example, among people who are dying of cancer, their fear of death goes away.
And why do they have that fear of death? Maybe somebody told them that there's a good chance that they might have an afterlife where they're going to endure unimaginable torture for eternity. Ask a non-religious person if they're afraid of death. They'll likely tell you no, but it's not something they're really looking forward to.
It's like, you're going to just lay that out there as delusional, are you? Quit smoking. 85% success rate with one mystical experience on psilocybin produces 85% cessation rate in smoking. Yeah. It's completely, and with MDMA, ecstasy, the 3 treatments with MDMA, that's what the current research indicates, produces a 72% cure rate for intractable post-traumatic stress disorder. It's like, those are miracle cures, and they have to be accompanied by the mystical experience. No one knows how to account for that. And so it's
a very physical thing. I mean, in a case like that, you talk about ayahuasca or any of these things, right? You're eating something, you're ingesting something, smoking it, whatever it is. It's physical, it's here and now, but the experience
is metaphysical.
Sure,
that's a place where the biological and the transcendent touch. And we don't know what to make of that. Yeah. Well, that's why psychedelics threw our whole culture into such a flip this upside down. No one knew what to do with them. You know, I mean, the Indians regarded psilocybin as food of the gods for a reason. And when people have encountered psychedelic substances throughout human history, that's always how they've been characterized. Yeah. It's right, food of the gods. It's like, beware of them. But they open the door to the transcendent. And, well, I think the evidence that they are doing something, that psychedelic substances are doing something that we seriously don't understand at all, not a bit, is overwhelming. Rick Strassman wrote a book on his experiences giving DMT to a whole bunch of people he was in Austin, I think. And Strassman's a pretty straight scientist. You know, he was interested in measuring psychophysiological responses to the drugs. Well, he'd give people DMT and they all came back with the same story. I was blasted out of my consciousness. I met a whole bunch of alien beings. They were really surprised I was there, and then I came back, and it was the most real thing that's ever happened to me. And Strassman would say, well, you had a Jungian archetypal experience, or it was a dream, and they'd say, you don't understand. Yeah. And he got so distraught because of these continual reports that he had to stop doing the research. Yeah. And I'm not making a claim for anything metaphysical here. I do believe that it touches on the metaphysical.
But the experience
is metaphysical.
Sure,
that's a place where the biological and the transcendent touch. But I'm definitely pointing out that there are undeniable realms of human experience that involve religious experience and a sense of the infinite transcendent that look like they're healthy and that you cannot deny.
Yeah.
Well, so what are you supposed to do with that? You put it in the box and you say, well, we're not going to pay attention to it. It's like, that's not going to work.
No, Peterson, stop straw manning. What you do is science. You have these observations. People hallucinate when they take these substances. And when people dream, their brain creates false sensory experiences. And unless you train yourself in lucid dreaming, those false sensory experiences feel real. So next comes a hypothesis. Maybe these substances cause the brain to turn on that part that creates these false sensory experiences. And if there's no ethical way to experiment, or if you don't have the proper tools to detect what's actually going on in the brain, you try to reason it out the best you can. Use Occam's razor. Is it more plausible that drugs cause the brain to perform a function that it usually doesn't perform when it's awake? Or is it more plausible to imagine up something called metaphysics? This is the God of the gaps fallacy, saying, I don't know why these hallucinations have such a powerful effect on people, therefore I know what's causing this effect. It's dishonest, it stops the thought process, and it leads to stagnation of discovery about the reality of the world. Peterson's a smart guy, a lot smarter than I am. He did a fantastic job in his interview with Kathy Newman. But in this conversation on the Rubin Report, he seemed like he was just mostly trying to evangelize and sell religion. Maybe somebody will challenge him on that. Anyway, that's my 2 cents, but let me know what you think.